What point did you, or will you be given a copy of that register to the political parties?
We have already given. I went to Oshun, I went to Ekiti about a month ago.
Are there complaints from any of the parties
We have
now?
not received, as I speak to you, we have not received any complaint from any political party on the status of that register. You know, and what we did, we did an elaborate presentation to them. We told them what were the figures we declared on the register before the 2011 elections. We told them what we have done to clean the register, you know, up to that point. How we removed multiple registrations, how, because we intend to use a card reader to read the cards in 2015 elections, we had a business process, which meant that if you have less than two cards, two fingerprints on the right and two fingerprints on the left, on the card, captured on the card, then we will not print your card, you know, because it means that there will be a challenge with that. So there are those people also whom we have found out their fingerprints were lacking, you know, and for those people, we said, you are not on the register, you will not find yourself on the register, please use the opportunity of the continuous voter registration so that your details will be captured again.
But if they don't have fingerprints, if they're physically challenged, how would they vote?
Again, we took care of that. When we did the registration in 2011, we had guidelines very clearly. Anybody who doesn't have fingers or doesn't have a hand, we had a unique special registration which has earmarked, tagged that registration. So if you come to us and your name is on the register and you don't have a hand, we know, because the details captured on the database include the details of those whose names, who do not have fingers or do not have arm. And regrettably, and we are truthful and we bring these things out. Some of the challenges in the register which we have been cleaning, for example, is that because people came out massively, in some cases, that special registration that we do for people who don't have fingers and arms, when there were challenges of taking fingerprints, some of our people in the field, either impatience or lack of training or pressure, they now use special registration and registered many people without their fingerprints. So that is why now some of the process of the cleaning we are doing is that to print your permanent voter's card, you must have fingerprints that can be read. And if there are no fingerprints, or if there are fewer than two fingerprints on each hand, we did not print the voters' cards. It's not permanent voters' cards. Your name will not be on the register. It means come out during the CVR so that you can be registered.
The cleanup you're talking about, is it going to take care of the issue of aggregation? You know, in Anambra State, there were issues of age aggregation, so that some people said they came out, saw the names when they were displayed, and then by the time they came for the elections, their names were not there.
No, again, as I have said, there was a lot of hype with regards to Anambra. The only register we displayed in Anambra is what we call pre-CVR register. The pre-CVR register is those who were on the register before the continuous voter registration. If you found your name on the pre-CVR register, your name must be on the register during the election. I think what has happened in Anambra, again, these are some of the details that didn't come out because of that mistake and the way it overwhelmed everybody. We removed from the Anambra register about 96,000 cases of multiple registration. People who registered more than once.
In 96,000?
96,000 in Anambra we removed. Now, in removing cases of multiple registration, we have a business process again. When you register more than once, we keep the last registration and removed the earlier one or earlier ones. Now, people who did multiple registration didn't know about this business rule. So if you did multiple registration and you came out to a polling unit where your name had been removed, Obviously, I mean, your name will not be there.
So you can't vote.
You can't vote because if you are talking of disenfranchisement, you have technically disenfranchised yourself from that polling unit. You know, if you go to the other polling unit where you registered again, you will find your name. But in Anambra, many people didn't know where they were removed and where their names appeared.
Professor Jega, you know what comes to mind now? Yeah. If we're looking at the number, it's almost hitting 100,000. So I'm thinking about prosecution of some of these people. What is your commission doing on this?
Prosecution has been a major challenge. I have said this consistently since after the 2011 elections. In fact, even preceding the 2011 elections, when we did some scenario building and we saw how enormous prosecuting electoral offenders would be, I did a letter to the National Assembly and to the President recommending that the recommendation of the Justice Muhammad Lawal Uwais Electoral Reform Committee for the establishment of an Election Offences Commission should be implemented. That was even before the 2011 elections. Since the 2011 elections, on voter registration alone, we have over 1 million cases of people who have done willful multiple registration, which is an electoral offense, and you can prosecute them. But INEC lacks the manpower and the resources to be able to do this prosecution successfully. It's not for lack of trying. We've done our best. I have said this repeatedly. We have successfully prosecuted over 200 people in spite of the delays in the court and the challenges of police investigation. You know, but I mean, 200, as I normally say, is a drop in the ocean. So there is no alternative. And we have again now, during this process of review of the Electoral Act and the Constitution, we've made a submission again to the National Assembly and requesting on the need to establish this Election Offences Commission, so that that responsibility will go to an independent body that will do it full time, that should be empowered to do it. In INEC, we have a very small legal unit. At any time, they are busy with tribunal cases, or they are busy after elections, you know, or even pre-election matters. So really, election offenses, we should ensure that people who commit them are penalized, you know, but we need to have another strategy of dealing with electoral offenses.
So as it stands now, for the Ekiti, Osun, and the 2015 general elections, if one votes in one polling unit and goes to vote in another polling unit, can INEC detect that?
It is impossible for somebody to vote in one polling unit and to go to another polling unit to vote. How? You know, first of all, as I have said, in our register, we have removed multiple registrations. So if you registered more than twice, you can only, your name will only appear in one place. You know, and therefore, it's inconceivable, unless there is high-level connivance. It's inconceivable that you can come to a place, your name is not on the register, and you will be allowed to vote. In Ekiti and Osun, we have ensured that we've eliminated all cases of multiple registration. So I have no worry about that. Besides, as you are aware, the methodology of voting, which we have been using since 2011, is that we will accredit people from 8 to 12. And by 12:30, everywhere in all polling units, voting will start. Everybody accredited will join the queue, and they will vote until the last person voted, and it ends. So there is no opportunity for people to move from one place to the other to be accredited and then to be able to vote. So really, we've dealt with that. The only remaining outstanding challenge is the tendency of political parties to purchase the cards from voters and then to give those cards to other people to go and vote.
Can they actually do that? In
They have
terms
been
of
doing that.
Giving it to another person when I have my fingerprints and possibly picture on it?
Yes, they have been doing that. And regrettably, in some cases, you know, again, either because of connivance or because of incompetence of some of the staff that we have.
How will your new card reader system
Excellent.
help in this?
Now that is it. That's what the point I'm trying to make. The only remaining challenge is what we intend to deal with by 2015 with the card reader. Because when we have a card reader now deployed, and a card reader is a simple device, you bring your permanent voter's card, we swipe it on the card reader, your details will emerge, but then your fingerprint will also be verified. Okay. You know, very simple device using battery, and we've taken steps to also ensure that we guard against battery failure or lack of charging of battery and so on. You know, so anybody who presents a card by somebody, you know, will not be able to vote, God willing, in 2015, given the new strategies we are deploying in the field, utilizing technology.
Are the card readers connected to your database?
No, they are not.